This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. Today's hosts are John McSwain, Colin Duipuis, Jared Webster, Emma Adams, and Nina Shakin. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. First week back at school, and we were talking about the first week blues, just kind of how things tend to go when school starts up again. We already know, guys, I'm sure something's gone wrong this week. What's gone wrong for you guys so far this week?
Okay, so last semester I took a class. It's called Environmental Stewardship, and I joined the class late. So when I joined it, I finally got all the notifications, and the first one I got was that the teacher had COVID. And then I was like, okay, I won't go to that class. And then I got the email like, oh, we can go to class. It's in Ben 110. So half the semester I was in Ben 110. And both my teachers had mustaches. So on Canvas there's a little picture and it's their face, and obviously they have this huge mustache. And
but you went to the class for half the semester, and you really liked it. I remember
loved it. We ate crickets. It was so fun. And then one day, and the readings had nothing to do with the actual class. So that was interesting. And then I kind of thought about it, and I was like, well, that teacher does not look like that guy. But I kind of just figured maybe he lost some weight or something, got a little taller.
Oh, I see where she's going.
I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes they have pictures from like the 80s, and you're like, you should probably you look nothing like your picture anymore.
It's not the same.
You have black hair here and gray hair now, so something needs to be updated.
Exactly. And then I heard one day he said his name, and I was like, that is not what's on Canvas. And so I panicked for 15 minutes. I text my friends, and I'm like, guys, I'm in the wrong class. And they're like, oh, well, how did you not know? And I was like, well, it's all about the environment. One was like sustaining food or whatever, and this other one was about like trees and not killing off like all the animals and stuff, about the environment, right? And so after class, I'm like, what class is this? I asked his name first, and he's like, why is she asking me this? But I was like, what class is this? And he just says the name, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been in the wrong class. But I would have gotten away with it, but the other teacher takes attendance. And so that makes sense when my grade was so low.
Oh, no.
But I basically had a brain fart the first half of the semester. So,
but you still passed the class.
I did.
Hey, there you go.
She passed the class.
That's impressive.
She went to the second half for the rest of the semester.
I hated it.
She really liked the first one more. I remember,
And the class was right next to my other class. So the old class, the wrong class, was always laughing and stuff. And then we were in this class just basically getting lectured, and it was not fun. And we could just hear them laughing, and it was just so annoying. I was like, I could have been in that class.
Oh.
But he took attendance, so.
That's crazy. That is super crazy.
That is crazy. And, something you just mentioned is, not recognizing the professor. I think, in my opinion, that they need to make these professors, update the pictures outside their office. Most of them have, pictures from, maybe 20 years ago or longer. It's some of them have hair and look they're 20 or 30 years old. Then you go to a class, they look like these bald-headed, older gentlemen or whatever. But, I think that's a big thing that they should do. One of the problems I think I had for the first week is going in or not knowing where my class is and then being late. And I think everyone has that. I don't know if you guys ever been to the snow building. It's very easy to get lost, and nothing makes sense. And there's a couple buildings like that.
Yep.
It's numerically, it doesn't go in a row. It's not organized at all. Nope. So I think that was one of my big, blues for the first week is not knowing where to go.
Yeah. Sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I remember that specifically. I don't think any of us here are freshmen. But I remember being a freshman, not knowing where anything was, it being my first week, and I was just very intimidated by the idea of college. I remember going to my first like the first ever college class, and I was like on time, and I was there, and people were showing up late, and I was like, this is college. Like, why are people showing up late to class? Well, it turns out that I show up late to class all the time. That's just how so does everybody else. So I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. Like, how were your guys' first ever weeks of college?
Oh man.
You're making me go way back.
Yeah.
I know, it's been a while.
That's 2018. Wow.
Well, the thing for me, I've been here for such a long. I've been here since. Well, my first week of college was in 2016. So
wow.
I've been here for a long time. So, bro, I wasn't even 19 yet. I was super young, so I was just like ready to go. Well, actually, no, I was kind of missing my family, to be honest. Okay.
You're like homesick.
Yeah. But I just remember it's like. But there was still some excitement in there as well. I mean, like, wow, so all these movies I saw as a kid about the college life, I'm finally going to get to do it. And then I just kind of remember being slightly disappointed about it's just like it's just quiet. Or at least the classes I had at the time were just quiet. Well, one of my classes was the Introduction to Communications class. And I had that at 7:45 in the morning. And it was
7:45.
Yeah, and it was
You're
also
lucky. It's 7 o'clock now.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, earlier.
It's also like it was also a winter semester too. So I just remember there's even one time where it was like 0 degrees outside. I'm from California, doesn't get that cold, and so I'm just like, this is a mistake. I made a mistake.
I made a
here.
huge mistake. Like,
so it wasn't so much issues with like not knowing like where to go, but it's just like I'm in like potato land and it's cold.
It's cold.
Yeah, so that was just the thoughts I had all the time in my first week. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but
well, I was a little bit older, slightly different story. I was, I think, 25 when I came out, so I was a little bit of a latecomer compared to a lot. And that was actually the hard thing is I got to class and I was looking around. I was like, oh crap! Like these are all these people in here are like 18.
Teenagers.
Yeah, 19. I was like, geez Louise, I didn't think I'd be the oldest one in the room. And it's kind of been that way since. But it was interesting. I think my biggest issue was the buildings. It took me such a long time to remember the names of the buildings. You wouldn't think so, right? That it's a bunch of, church history leaders. But yeah, I had a hard time like putting names to buildings. And I was wandering on campus so lost. And I think when I finally figured out you could like Google Maps stuff.
I was about to say that.
Mind.
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Oh my gosh. And then I eventually got a job like on my second semester as like a rover custodian. Her job was to walk around campus. Eventually I got it memorized. But that first semester I was always lost. And I usually can find my way by like, all right, where's the MC? Because I ate there every day, right? So that was like my like North Star.
I know where I am. Yeah.
I was like, let me just find the MC, and then I'll look around and be like, okay, that way, I remember that building. Yeah, that was my hardest thing, just remembering where I was. I was lost constantly.
Yeah. No,
sometimes I'll still go somewhere on campus and I'll have a flashback to when I was standing in that spot completely confused about where I was, like looking at my maps on my phone trying to figure out how to get home. And it's funny because our campus is not that big.
No.
But like I guess when you're used to, I don't know, like going to high school or whatever, like the buildings it's just one building, and now you're going to 20 or whatever. You just get so lost. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I still have those flashbacks now.
And I'm better now. I didn't learn this trick until like maybe my 4th or 5th like semester, is like paying attention when you're signing up for classes, what buildings you're going to.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I have to go from the Rick's building to the Sporey in 15 minutes. I'm like, oh man. Like,
what's worse is going from the Sporey to the Ricks in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You're going uphill.
That hill gets you.
Right? And it's like winter semester, and like I didn't think that through. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you got to try to find like the right buildings to walk into, so then walk through the
right.
building.
And then you find the paths. Yeah. You learn all that stuff eventually. At first semester, you're just walking outside, and you're like, oh, I didn't think to cut through the building. Like 0 degrees. I should have thought of that.
I will be late to class so I can walk through a building. Like 100%. I don't care.
100%.
Yeah, if I'm cold, I'm walking through the building.
Yeah.
I don't care if it takes me like 10 more minutes, like that's what I'm doing.
Do you have to run from each class to each class?
Yeah, because I'm so cold, I like run. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably should like start a petition on like getting more connecting corridors, like
really
the library has to,
right?
Like crossroads.
That's a
lifesaver.
That
we need that everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
We need those bridges.
Yeah, well, I know there's one between like the eye center and the heart. Right? Yeah, and I used to use that like even if I was just walking from here to here, I would go into the eye center like through the thing. It would take me 10 more minutes to get home, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
So so cold.
Completely. I
Yeah.
agree with
No, you just plan out your day. It's like, here, I'm just going to take that extra 10 minutes. I'm going to wedge it in my schedule here.
I know, yeah.
It's essential.
It's essential.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard that there's tunnels under the school. Like, maybe
There
we need to
is.
heat them, and
that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Let me get my
Heard about
staff
them.
pass real quick.
Yeah.
You just go in there and take the
Yeah.
secret underground.
Underground tunnels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It is a thing.
No.
BYU in the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there expectations you guys had for college that was just like not real? I mean, you kind of talked about it a little bit. Like, you're like, I thought it was going to be like the movies.
Oh,
Like, what were your expectations coming in, and what like was different about it?
I think and this is really unique to our campus, right? Like our class sizes, and this goes back to like movies. You watch movies and they're like,
oh my gosh,
you know,
lecture halls.
like I think the biggest one I watched as a kid was like Extremely Goofy Movie, and like they had this huge, and the whole thing's about college. Like
Yeah.
he goes to college, and there's like this huge like thing, and the professor's just sitting there, and there's just like stuff on the board, and apparently that's pretty common for a lot of schools. But I got here, and the first class I took was in the Smith. And it looked like a high school classroom.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. I was like, we were even seeing like the high school classroom like chairs. And I was like, whoa.
Those desks with the like arm
I
on
was
them.
expecting
Yeah.
the lecture halls, like the ones in like the Ricks. We only have a couple on this campus. Like there's like huge one in the Ricks that fit like 150 people. I thought that was every classroom, and it wasn't, and that blew my mind.
Well, and they also say, like, you know, you don't even have to go to class, you choose, but most professors like
They
take attendance.
Oh.
So you do have to go.
Yeah.
Rude awakening. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But no, you're right about that, because like, yeah, and there are colleges out there that have a lot of those huge lecture halls, whatever. But, so that was something that surprised me too. And you were about to say something, I thought.
Oh no, you're totally good.
Okay, but like, it's just that also something else that I brought to mind. So I mean, I'm married now, so I successfully completed the task. But one of the main thing I was going for was like, oh, the girls. So that was
Yeah.
you know, that was just like waiting to like go to any kind of party or just any social gathering, so I could just meet all these people. Not even just girls, but like also meeting friends and stuff. And it was harder than I thought it was going to be, because there's not really like. I think one of the big things was no sports being here, because like that was one of the best ways I met the people I knew, is because I did track in high school or whatever, and so you spend all the time with them. But there's not the sports, or I guess I didn't know about clubs. There's just so many different things that I just didn't know about that I had to figure out like later. You know what I mean? So that was one thing for me. But,
Yeah, and I think here the social scene is a little different than other colleges. You know, we've got board game nights and
D&D
like
night.
D&D night, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe we're not partying as much as other schools, so it's definitely a little bit different, even than probably what people were used to in high school.
Yeah.
Were there like expectations you had going in, John, that were like not the same when you got here?
So my expectations were very low almost coming here, just because like I've never gone to a school where it's like a church university.
Mm-hmm.
So like coming here, I didn't know what was going on. Like, you know, if we all had to wear uniforms or something like that.
Well, you do to the
like,
gym. So.
Yeah, you do to the
Yeah.
gym.
We're far off.
And I know there's a dress code and everything like that, but it's to a point where you still can be comfortable and like, you know, be yourself and have your own type of wardrobe and stuff like that. So my expectations of this college was just like really to network and get to know people and stuff like that. And you know, my first semester being here, I didn't know anyone, I didn't have any friends. Like, I'm from New Jersey, so I don't have any family anywhere close.
Same.
So I felt alone for the first week or first semester coming here. But you know, through the societies and different things, clubs that you can get into, it was very easy to, you know, meet friends and get to know people. You know, most of the classes, you know, you have that first week introduction, who you are, where you're from, and stuff like that, which I really appreciate. And then, you know, most times you're sitting next to the same person or people around you. So just like if you're yourself engaging to get to know people, it makes it a lot easier to have friends and really network with people that is going to help you along your educational way and possibly career as well.
I think that's true. I mean, I think that's how I started working at the radio, was just trying to make friends. And I made a friend in class who ended up basically forcing me to work here. So, you just never know who you're going to meet or how they're going to help you, either with your major or with your career. So that's something that's really important to remember. What kind of advice do all of you guys have? None of us are freshmen. Emma, you have
I would
something?
say, I came here 2021 in this winter, and so COVID was still happening. Well, it's still happening. But anyways, so we were on Zoom, and I remember the semester after that and then the one after that, it was a rude awakening when I found out you actually have to get ready for class. Before I would literally not turn my camera on, or, you do your hair so you look a little better, or I would fall asleep sometimes in my 8 a.m. class. It wasn't really college experience, but then I was going to my classes at that point, and I just met so many people. And so I think that, I was really anxious when I first came here, but it just gets better. And it's inevitable that you'll get anxious about coming to school, but after a week, I at least I felt like all that anxiety was pretty much decreasing and stuff. So I would say just be patient and just expect something really fun and really crappy to happen every semester. So.
That is so true, yeah.
Isn't that life, right?
Yeah.
Right. Some advice that I would like to share to those who are starting out, or maybe even just in the middle of school. The school's website has a lot of information on it, whether it be about deadlines for the semester, or school events, or clubs to attend, to be a part of if you want to go to a club, or literally anything. It's I didn't know how much information was on there, and so I didn't get to do as many things as I would have liked when I was first coming into school, until I met people, and then I would meet them, and it's oh, how's it going? It's oh, good. I just came back from I don't know, dodgeball or whatever. It's they have a dodgeball team here, and
who knew? Yeah.
And so I had no idea until later in my life here in school. So that would be my main thing. Just if you're just curious about what there is and what the school has to offer, look it up. There's there's so many things.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think there's so many things you can be doing just to have a good time, because that's what we want to. We come to college, you want to have a fun time. I was really scared when I first got here, because I had been out of school for a while. I just said, I think I was 24, 25. High school was a hop, skipping away from when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little worried about coming back to classes, having professors and teachers again. And what I learned really quickly, and hopefully this maybe helps somebody out there, but the professors here are amazing, and there's not a single one out there that won't help you and confide, have you confide in them. They're all there for that reason, so just know that professors are there for you. They're for us, they're here to help us. So just rely on them, ask them questions. Don't be afraid to tell them about your the struggles you're going through. They want to know, they want to help, so professors are amazing, here.
Well, and I think also, follow the people that are in front of you when it's snowing, because otherwise you're going to be ice skating on one sidewalk, and then, so you need to go follow them so that you're on the heated sidewalk, and then you don't ice skate.
I feel like you're still feeling bitter about that.
I am. It was really embarrassing. People were driving by, and I'm just freaking ice skating right now. So
you're going to slip.
I have many times.
It's going to happen. Regardless if you're from a snow place or not, you're gonna
fall in the snow.
It's crazy how many people I saw with crutches, or that little wheeling thing that you put one knee on. You're just I'm wow,
it's a problem, man.
So I agree, yeah. But
that is so true.
So some of the advice I have for folks, of course, is always have faith. Keep praying about things you're going through, but it's more towards people that have struggles, or really going through that rough time throughout the semester. You think the first week was bad, and it just keeps getting worse and stuff like that. But one thing I suggest is to take advantage of the resources here. I think the one thing I notice about this school, and I'm an older student too, Colin, is just like there's so many helpful resources with this school. If you're struggling in class, there's free tutoring in the library.
Yeah.
And, you know, the hours for that is amazing. Like, for me and many other people that hate math, it's like that place is a sanctuary because they help you through anything.
When
right?
I discovered it, I lived there for like a whole semester.
The math center like saved a lot of us. I'm sure.
I would have a degree without them.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's so many helpful tutoring areas like that. You know, if you're feeling sick, whatever, of course, we got the Student Health Center. And right upstairs from them, if you're going through like depression or if you're really struggling with some things, you know, that keep you on the path of righteousness, we have counselors for you. And like all of these, you know, sorts of resources are free to us. And, you know, if that doesn't help, like you were saying, our professors are amazing. You know, going up to them and, you know, looking at their office hours and getting a one-on-one with them so they can really know who you are and what you're going through. They'd be more than willing to help you through that process. So I believe this, is fine, but just to sum it up, it's just take advantage of the resources that we have.
Yeah, and I think, you know, remember, you're not alone. I went to my English class last semester, and I came like 15 minutes early because I couldn't find the class. And so I figured I wouldn't be able to find the class. So I went early, and there was this girl standing right outside the door, and I was like, "Are you for this English class?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Do you want to walk in together?" Because, you know, it's probably not very cool to get to class like 15 minutes early, but we've been friends ever since. So I think, you know, remember that you're not alone, and everyone has like the same ideas, same fears and everything. And for me, just reaching out to people and not feeling afraid to talk, because you're not lame if you want to make friends. And so.
Sorry, I just got reminded we talked so much about the professors wanting to help. So earlier we were talking about how I was like, we thought that the classes were going to be super big. And that's actually kind of like a blessing in disguise, at least for me, having those smaller, more intimate classes, because the professor, I'm going back to high school again, but the professors actually like learn your name, and they recognize you when you walk across the halls, especially if you have them for multiple semesters in a row or whatever. They go like, "Oh, hi, Jared, how's it going? And how are you coming along in your college journey," or whatever. And it's like, that was not what I expected, but I'm glad it is the way that it is, because I think it's what separates BYU-Idaho from a lot of other colleges, is that it's almost, I don't want to be cliche here, but almost like a family, if you will, you know? Just in that kind of sense.
In my communication class, it's for public speaking. We have 5 students in the class. So imagine, we have to give speeches and stuff. 5 people is a piece of cake. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think just the biggest thing for me about that I found at BYU-Idaho is if you need help with something, there's a resource available. You know, if you're trying to make friends, if you're trying to participate in activities, if you need help with your mental health or with any type of tutoring, we even have like the reading tutoring, which isn't just about reading. Like, there are people that will just sit with you while you do your homework, just so you have someone there, which I make Emma do that for me all the time.
We FaceTime.
I'm
not on campus.
I need someone to do homework with me because I can't focus otherwise. So there are so many resources available to you. It's just a matter of asking questions, like getting yourself out there, and just asking people like, "Hey, I really need help with this. Where should I go? I want to practice an interview. There's the Career Center. There are so many opportunities." So BYU-Idaho is definitely going to help you with your success in the future.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were John McSwain, Colin Duipuis, Jared Webster, Emma Adams, and Nina Shakin. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university, and are solely the opinions of the hosts. This episode was edited by Nina Shakin. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media, or visit our website, byu.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the BYU-Idaho Radio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.